So anyways, that's how I killed a grizzly with my bare hands. Anyways, what's going on YouTube? It's your guy, Walker Ogle, and Matthew Zook here with another episode, another podcast of the Alphas Table. And this time we are here with our special guest, the Brantley Baker. How you doing, guys?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. I feel really honored to be the first guest on the best podcast in all the land. So thank you, guys.
Yeah. Matthew, how you doing?
Appreciate you coming.
Matthew, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, me personally, I'm doing pretty good. You notice anything different or about me or no?
Off?
Oh my God!
I've had my braces.
You're wearing glasses.
Nope. I've had glasses.
Oh, somebody took a poop on your hair and now it's black. Gotcha. No, you're good. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it does. It looks all right.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just wanted to, do something different. I was pretty bored, so yeah.
Anyways, guys, we want to first off thank you guys. We're almost up to 100 views on our first video, so it's a big pog for that.
That is actually really awesome.
Big
We
pogs.
appreciate you guys watching.
We do. And like we said, if you feel free to comment anything. If you disagree, agree with anything we say, go right ahead. So we'll get this thing started. Matthew, Twitter trending. Start us off here, buddy.
All right, so our first session, Twitter trending. The first thing we've got going here is Blacks is trending with 40K tweets about it, I'm pretty sure. And for you guys who don't know, I'm pretty sure somebody uploaded a TikTok. It was about probably a week ago, I'd say. And so it was this white couple, and the guy said the N-word. And basically, ever since that, he got canceled, right?
Right.
He lost his scholarships to college. He got expelled from his school. I'm pretty sure the girl did as well. But the reason this here is trending is because the female made an apology on Instagram. Let me try and find it. Here we go. I want to apologize for the abhorrent video I posted. I know in my heart how wrong it was. My boyfriend is racist, and he slowly normalized his racism on me. Still, I should never have let him. I believe blacks are human too. And that right there is the issue that everyone is having.
Are human
Because
too.
the way she worded that is so racist. And here we go. Anybody who says colored or the blacks when referring to black people is definitely racist. Debate your mama. And so, people are just really upset about this, which for good reason.
Right.
No one should ever say that. And, first they made the video and thought it was funny, right? And
Right.
then they got canceled. And then she goes and does this and says this. And now she's getting canceled again. So,
Oh, I understand. He's wrong. I don't know about getting canceled. He should definitely have some, a little bit of punishment. But
yeah, people going after him going to college and stuff, that's going to hurt his future, really. And,
Yeah.
People make mistakes, and I feel like he would learn from this, but losing his chance to go to college might be a bit much, but, still, he deserves something,
What, Brandon, do you have anything to add to that?
Just something small, I guess my thoughts are kind of the stereotypical thoughts on this. Obviously, we're living in a day and age where, even if I know the girlfriend came out and said that he really was racist, but even if the boyfriend wasn't racist, you can't say stuff like that. And if you do say something like that, then, you're going to have to take the consequences because, it's not a crime, but if you do the crime, you have to pay the time. And it's
Exactly.
that's really self-explanatory. And, living in the times that we're living in right now, you can't say something like that and just expect it not to backfire. So, I know that's kind of stereotypical of what we think these days, but that's pretty much just what's been on my mind this whole time. So
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so the next one here. If Tony Stark were in charge, rest in peace, my boy Tony, first of all. Like,
first of all, yeah,
I
rip
might start
Tony.
crying here, but,
Well, I think
so-
we got lucky with our guest, Brantley.
yes,
Tony
sir.
Stark. He's like your hero. He's your main guy.
Yeah, Tony is man, I fell in love with Tony Stark with the first Iron Man movie. I fell in love with Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. And he's been my favorite actor ever since. And yeah, I was devastated when he got killed off in Endgame. But I mean,
Whoa, spoiler alert, bro.
yeah, spoiler alert. My bad. But what better way for Tony Stark?
What are you doing?
Yeah, true. What better way for Tony Stark to go off than to save the universe? So, it was kind of fitting. And as for if he were in charge, I assume that's talking about like in today's world.
Yeah.
Obviously, he would find a cure for COVID-19
Yep.
because he figured out time travel in a night. And in Avengers 1, Maria Hill says something about astronuclear thermodynamics or something like that, and he said he became an expert on that overnight. So obviously he would find the cure or the vaccine for this. But other than that, I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all got to say. So
Well, personally, if Tony Stark were in charge, I think things would be a lot better. I think he would bring Wakanda into like the rest of the world. Like we would all have all this technology and stuff, and I just think the world would be a better place. Honestly, he's literally probably the smartest man alive. So, I mean,
oh, yeah.
what could go wrong with having Tony Stark in charge?
I mean,
Brother, I
probably
agree with everything you are saying. Tony Stark's the man. He's the man, the myth, the legend. He's better than Captain America. I'm sorry for those of you people that think differently. You're wrong. I'm sorry. He is the guy. When it comes to this whole virus thing, Tony Stark comes to mind when you want things solved. But I was actually talking about this the other day with Aaron, and if you guys could pick somebody other than Tony Stark to save the world, who do you think it would be? Just a real quick question. I know it's a bit random, but
Are we talking about like people in the MCU?
anybody in the world, real, fake, anybody.
Oh gosh.
Anybody?
Mm-hmm. I can get the ball rolling if you want me to.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's
sure, go ahead.
Now,
Percy Jackson, my boy.
ooh,
Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson. Okay. Now, for me, when everything's going wrong, there's one man to call.
Ghostbuster.
Danny DeVito. I think Danny DeVito.
Vito.
Somehow, nobody's asking. Thing is, nobody's asking to solve the quarantine.
True.
I'm just saying he hasn't tried. So,
True. So
think
like
Danny
don't
DeVito
know.
a chance. That thing's gone. That thing is out of here. That was just a little short tidbit. We can keep going looking at any of those things under
This
Tony Stark.
one's political a little bit. He would have defeated Trump already, cured COVID, and saved. Well, they put I don't know what they're doing there, but save the world a million times over. Can RDJ dress up as Tony, Iron Man, and have a go at Trump?
I mean, that would be a little
They
unfair.
want a fight club between Tony and Trump, is what I'm hearing.
He would fix Modern Warfare servers. Yes, sir. Yes.
True, dude. Warzone servers have been so bad. I mean, I haven't played in a bit, but whenever I did, it was awful.
Oh, they're still bad.
Okay, good to know. All right, so I guess we can move on to this one.
Last topic of Twitter.
My summer 2020 plans. Well, right now it's looking kind of bleak. What about for you guys?
Well, for me, it's going to be the same every day, except for I'm actually going to get my boating license soon. So I'll be having me some lake days. I'm gonna hopefully I can learn how to pull a tube. That'd be kind of cool.
My plans for the summer, obviously, my perspective on being out in public is obviously a little bit different now. So like I'm gonna be a lot more careful with like washing my hands and stuff after I'm out in public, and you know
If
maybe
you can go out in public.
yeah, if we can go out in public, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm kind of operating as if everything's gonna be back to normal. Not normal. I
Yeah.
don't think there's gonna be a normal for a long time.
Right.
But as far as actually getting to see friends and other people and stuff like that, I think we'll be back to normal. Hopefully by the end of May. And
I hope so.
but anyways, obviously I'm gonna hang out with my friends, you guys, all the other guys. Hopefully acting like idiots, like we do best.
Yeah.
And I want to play a lot of pickup or just do whatever activities that everyone wants to do. And I got to decide if I'm transferring schools or not for next semester. So
Hey, yes, sir.
yeah, so we'll see about that. Other than that, I can't really think of a whole lot of other stuff. I mean, I'm sure if we're able to go on vacation, I'm sure I'll go on vacation with my family somewhere.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm just gonna hang out. I'm gonna hang out with y'all and all the rest of the guys, and we're gonna make it the best summer we possibly can.
I hope so.
Yes,
I
sir.
have a cruise planned, but I don't know if that's going to happen now. So I
Rip.
hope so. But did you guys see they opened the beaches last night?
Jacksonville.
That was
It's
very
always
serious.
Florida. Always
Personally,
Florida.
It's always Florida.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you saw it was like I saw a picture on Twitter. It said 27 minutes after the beach had opened, and it was full.
It was full. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it this
I
morning.
was like, this is going to keep going if people don't stop.
Actually listen for once in their lives.
Yeah, that's stupid. And Matthew, one quick thing about your cruise. I don't know very many people who go on cruises. I've been on one, and they're low-key the best vacation. to
They
go.
are. They're better than the beach, honestly. Because
yeah.
like at the stops, you can go to the beach. Like we're going to Cozumel, they have a beach. But like cruises, oh my gosh.
Yes,
There's
and
something
like
else.
it's easier to make friends on a cruise than it is like if you're just hanging out with your family at a beach. Because
Yeah.
on a cruise you have, well, in my experience, I had a lot more freedom on a cruise because I was
Yeah.
going to
I
like
just went wherever I wanted to.
yeah, and of course like at a beach, everything like that, you got to stay with your parents or I mean, if you go on vacation with your parents, if you go with a group of friends, I'm sure it's way different. But at least in my experience, I would go on a cruise.
As far as family vacations go, I'd say cruises are the best.
Yeah, for sure. But
Well, all right.
Alrighty.
So are we ready to move into our second section?
We are. And that section would be our hot take section where we discuss multiple different things where we may or may not have the same opinions on. Matthew, what is our first topic here today?
So first, we're going to talk about Fortnite. All right. I know personally, I have not loaded into Fortnite since the beginning of Season 2, Chapter 2. And the question of the hour is it dead or not? Because you see on Twitter all these creators quitting, and you
pros.
also see the pros quitting.
Yep.
So people are asking the question, is it dead?
Well, I'm not going to say dead. I'm going to say dying because the way a lot of people look at it are through creators' eyes. Now, creators, when it comes down to it, creators are only a small percentage of people. They don't, speak for everybody in the community and anybody in the Fortnite community. But I would have to agree with them because Fortnite's not fun. I feel like Fortnite is so heavily pushed to be competitive nowadays to where they've taken out everything fun, everything that made it Fortnite besides building, and now everything's trying to be competitive, trying to be an esports game. And I just think that's ruined the whole game. I think everything – I don't even like the newer graphics personally than before everything got crazy. The whole – they're okay, but I would go back. That's just my opinion on it.
I think, like you said, it is very boring. Like, I think they really need to do something now to bring people back if they want it to
Hmm.
continue going upward. But from the way I see it, the slope is going down for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. I logged in a couple weeks ago, and I only did that because we were on this Corona break thing from school, and I wasn't getting to see friends, so I logged on with EJ and Walker just only because I wanted to talk to them and
Hmm.
see how they were doing, and obviously we played a few games, but then like we got mad and we haven't logged on since because it wasn't really that fun. And before that, it was like I don't know, probably the last time we played Zone Wars was the last time that I had gotten on. So I guess I agree with you guys. I'm not as much of an expert on video games as you guys are. Um, but I do have somewhat of an opinion, and yeah, I would agree with y'all that it's not dead because I mean, if all the guys were like, "Hey, yeah, let's go play some Zone Wars," then yeah, I'd probably get on with y'all just so I could have a good time with y'all. But I'm not gonna get on and play on my own at all. So I definitely do think it's dying.
You know, I'm not I'm not going to count it out because let's be fair, it was the best game for a long period of time. You got to give where people hate on it, like I hate on it right now, like it's bad, but you
Yeah.
got to respect it because there was a point in time where weekly there were updates that kept making it fun, and this went on for at least in my opinion, it was really fun for at least a year and a half, maybe
Yeah.
close to 2 years, but at least a year and a half where it was actually fun. And I
Well,
saw
we
some
played
hints.
since the beginning. Before
Yeah,
seasons, we played. Me and
yeah.
Walker did, and I mean, it was amazing. Like it was great. But the thing is, I even said this. I said when they were doing weekly updates, I said they're gonna run out of items to add to this game, and it's gonna become stale because they'll just keep rotating in these same weapons, which they are doing. They're like they vault the heavy sniper, they bring it back, they vault it, they bring it back. They like there's nothing new
It's
to the
boring.
game.
Going to sleep. Uh, so I think as a consensus, we all, we think it's dying, not dead, but dying. I'll get a little bit of hope because I saw somewhere where there might be something really big, crazy happening with the next crew. Me and EJ have been talking about it. Not something happened with it, but I'm not going to get my hopes up for anything.
Yeah.
What?
Now, if you guys don't know, which you don't know, Brantley only knew that topic, what we were going to talk about today. So everything else after this is completely new in this section. So, Matthew, what's up next?
Okay, our next one. We're gonna discuss whether violent video games are bad for children.
Okay.
Bad for the growing youth.
We'll let Brantley go first here.
Sounds good.
Well, first of all, what is considered a violent video game? Is it
Call of,
anything that
Blood, gore,
let's use Call of Duty as a basis
or
with
GTA.
the or GTA. Yeah,
GTA is a good one.
GTA is a good one.
GTA? And as a kid, are we talking about elementary aged or kid all the way up until
Yes.
teenager?
Let's do. Let's do.
Let's say third grade.
Third
Mm,
grade.
I go a little bit higher. I'd go.
yeah.
I go
I
middle school. Middle school.
okay.
Because once you're in high school, you're a bit more established. You have more opinion.
So
Yeah.
middle school, you're still considered a kid, kinda. Okay.
Yeah, go with that.
Um, no, I don't think they're too violent. For kids, if we're talking about Call of Duty, and I don't know about Grand Theft Auto, I'm probably not gonna let my kids play GTA. Mainly because I wasn't allowed to really play it growing up, and you know, my my parents. Well, they didn't let me play it in elementary school, and then I guess when I got to high school, they didn't really care what I played. But by that time, I was already like, okay, I know what that is, and I don't really have any interest in playing it. So, no, I don't think they're too. I don't think they're too violent. I don't really know why. I didn't have time to form an opinion on it really because
Uh,
y'all didn't tell me the topics. Um, but I mean, like all my friends played those games growing up, and I mean, they have no problems. You guys have no problems. I mean, you guys don't grow.
well,
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, you guys don't go around wanting to kill people, so and obviously that'd be my biggest concern if I grow up and I get married and I have a couple kids and they want to play those games, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I just don't want them to think that that's actually how you live life, you know.
Right.
And I don't want them to think that. So that would be my only concern from a parent view. But I mean, no, I don't think they're too violent. So
I'm gonna have to agree. I have a little bit different reasoning. My reasoning for this is, you know, if we lived in a sheltered world where video games were like rare to play as kids, because nowadays, almost every kid grows up and they've played some type of video game. I'm gonna say no, it's not bad for those kids because we have reality TV. We have television, which is basically watching almost the exact same thing. You can find anything in the world that's on television, and there's a lot of stuff similar to video games. You can watch a lot of things on TV and the internet that are just as bad as video games. And if we can have those in the world, video games should be fine as well if you have both of those things.
Okay. I'm also gonna have to go with no, but just because I grew up playing video games like all the time. Like my dad bought a PS4 3 whenever it first came out, and so I don't know how long ago that's been, but anyways, and whenever I got babysat, they had a PS1, and that's actually what I started out on, and so like. I mean, I don't think they're violent or too violent actually for kids. So yeah.
Okay. So we're once again on consensus. Now I think for this last topic,
This one's gonna be fun.
this will be fun. This one,
Yeah.
it's not a crazy debate, but it is a
This
debate
might be kind of hard for Brantley.
because this is off the top of your head.
Yeah.
So the topic is, what is your top 3 ranking your comedy duo? Where you have a movie where it's 2 main stars, and that's the funniest ones you have.
oh gosh.
If you want to think, we can say ours, and then I'll
Okay.
go.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you guys go ahead and then I'll think of mine.
Okay. So top 3 for me would probably be obviously Will Ferrell and John C. Riley. Those those guys, Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, they're hilarious. And then I'd have to say James Franco and Seth Rogen. The Interview is hilarious. Pineapple Express, one of the funniest movies ever. This Is the End, they work amazing together. And last but not least, I'd say Key and Peele.
Okay.
I never don't laugh
Okay.
at their videos.
I like that. For me, I have one of those. I think I have 2 of yours that are similar to mine. I'm gonna start from 3 and up. 3, I'm gonna go with the Talladega Nights crew and Step Brothers crew. And honestly, I didn't watch Step Brothers till actually like a year ago. So roast me. I know it's bad. That's
No,
my
we
that's
watched it
my
together. I
fault.
was so mad.
It's
I
a
was
great
like,
movie. That's great. And then I didn't think about Key and Peele. And now that you say that, Key and Peele, their show, that is one of the funniest
I
shows I
know.
think I've ever seen. And then my third, I can't tell you how good of a movie the Jumanji series is with Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart. Those are my favorite comedy duo of all time because the first one, you see them as a role of 2 of the kids or 2 of the teenagers in it, and then you see it as a Danny DeVito and someone older, and it is one of the best duos I think I've ever seen in any television.
And Central Intelligence, have you seen that?
I haven't though.
It's funny. It's got both of them in it. Yeah, you'll have to watch it.
So for mine, obviously, like you guys said, Will Ferrell and John C. Riley. You can't beat those 2. I watched Step Brothers for the first time in like 8th grade or 7th grade or something like that, and it was literally the funniest movie ever. And then, of course, Talladega Nights is really funny as well. They're probably my number 1. Probably my number 2. I'm gonna have to stay with Will Ferrell and add in Mark Wahlberg because I really like the other guys. That movie is very funny. And the only other 2 movies I've seen them together in is Daddy's Home, and I know I know those 2 movies are kind of for kids and everything, but I mean they are very enjoyable as an 18-year-old dude. I can sit down and watch it every now and then. It's still pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then for my third one, this is like way off topic as to what you guys were talking about, but I'm gonna have to go with Chris Pratt and Bradley Cooper as Star Lord and Rocket Raccoon.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
because in both of the Guardians movies and Avengers Infinity War, of course, Star Lord wasn't really in Endgame. But in Guardians 1 and 2 and Infinity War, they were very funny together, and I always get cracked up when those two are on screen together, even though Bradley Cooper is a raccoon. Of course, that might make it a little bit funnier, but that would definitely have to be my three. So.
I like that.
It's a
I love
solid
me some
choice,
Chris
yeah.
Pratt.
Oh, and the group of the grown-ups, because I like both grown-ups
I
movies.
was gonna say
We were
that
gonna
as like
say
an outlier
Adam Sandler
because,
and Kevin.
but
I,
those movies are great.
I had
Adam
some
Sandler and that crew.
honorable mentions.
Yeah,
Honorable mentions would have to be Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill.
yeah,
21 Jump Street.
yeah.
They're
That
funny
was
movies.
great.
They're great together. And like you said, Adam Sandler, Kevin James. Like
Lilo and
they're
Stitch. I mean, yeah.
they're funny.
All right, so that'll wrap up that section, and we'll move into our final section, which is the world of sports. Now, we're going to talk about the first part of this, which will be basically the craziest trades that have gone on so far, because we're moving up to the draft, and who knows if we'll have an NFL season? We're going to base this off, we hopefully are, whether there be fans or not. So, first we're going to talk about the craziest trades and everything that's been going on, beneath the scenes with trades. So, Brantley, Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's your guy. That's your dude. Tell me how you feeling about that.
That's right. Tom Brady, he is my guy. I don't know why I like him so much, but I don't know. I don't know why I like him so much, but I do think he's the greatest of all time. He's the best winner of all time in any sport, maybe other than Michael Jordan. Um, and it's going to be really weird seeing him in a Buccaneer jersey. It's like I can't lie. It's going to be really weird. But after he signed, I did see where it was something like all great players have their time come to an end with their team, and most great players aren't ready to give up the game that they love yet. And the same thing happened with Michael Jordan. He wasn't ready to be done with the Bulls, so he signed with the Wizards for a year. And the same thing happened with Tom Brady. Bill Belichick wasn't really, you know, I don't know why I don't know why Coach Belichick didn't want him. If I was Coach Belichick, he won me all those games. I would get him some more weapons, and I'd say let's run it back. But I'm not. I didn't play football in high school. I played growing up. Didn't play in high school, so I guess I'm not the most knowledgeable on football. But I like Tom Brady. It's going to be weird seeing him in a Bucs jersey, but he's going to have weapons around him, and I'm excited to see what he does.
I'm gonna have to agree. Now, I like Brady. He's cool. He's all right. He's obviously not my favorite player, favorite team, but you got to give the man some respect for how many rings, how much he wins. Now, I think the reason he left, if you look at it last year, I want to point out that he scored one of his touchdowns near the end of the season, maybe even playoffs, with a linebacker. Something went wrong, and he didn't have weapons at the end of the season. You give him some more weapons, and I think Titans game's a lot different in the playoffs. He didn't have anybody. It's only Julian Edelman, and he was beat up by the end of the season. So I think he wanted. I'm not going to speak for him, but if I'm him, I would want out because you go to Tampa, you go somewhere else. I mean, they have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They got a good defense with Shaquille Barrett. They got a team going on down there, and I think maybe some more leadership from Tom Brady instead of Winston, it'll help out.
One other quick point. I do think if this was any other year, him switching teams, I don't think he'd have any problem. But with all this stuff going on, he has no time to build any camaraderie with all of his new teammates, all of his new coaches, and everything like that. So if you're out there listening and you have these grand expectations for Tom Brady with his new team, I would probably temper those expectations a little bit, just because, I mean, having chemistry with your teammates is a really big thing. Shout out to Hunter Burt for getting me to think that. But anyways, that aspect is really big, especially on the pro sports level, and you can't overlook that. So I'm trying to temper my expectations. I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl or anything like that. I don't think they're. I mean, I doubt they're going to win their division because still got the Saints and everything like that. So, but I think a very possible expectation is just that they make the playoffs, and that's what I hope that they do. And I'm never going to count out Tom Brady when he gets in the playoffs.
Exactly. You never count out Tom Brady. That's Skip Bayless right there talking. Skip Bayless is the GOAT. All right, now with our show, we're obviously going to keep it kind of centered around teams we like. And like I said in last video, the Dallas Cowboys, that's my home.
Cowboys.
Away from home. And Matthew also, that's one of his favorite teams as well, so he knows a little bit what I'm talking about.
I don't watch sports, so just
put
that out there. I watch the Cowboys every now and then, but that's why I'm kind of not saying anything here. I just hate Tom Brady, though. Putting that out there.
All right, so with the Cowboys, this offseason, we lost our opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence, which was Robert Quinn, who led the team in sacks, and we lost Byron Jones, who was our lockdown cornerback. Couldn't get an interception to save his life, but he was a good lockdown cornerback. And then the other major one was Randall Cobb as our third kind of slot receiver. But, those things happen. Those things happen all the time in the NFL, so you can't get mad. We also lost, like, Jason Witten and Jeff Heath, who was the GOAT, not the best player, but gave his heart out for him. But Amari Cooper got signed, if you guys didn't know, making him the second highest paid wide receiver in the league. I think Amari Cooper's great. I think, we needed him. I don't know if he was worth the money. I'm glad he got paid. Without him, Michael Gallup's our next up, which I think Michael Gallup is a perfect combination with Amari Cooper. And last, Dak Prescott has not got paid. So hopefully in this next coming weeks or months, he'll get paid. Can't say too much. I thought he was going to get paid off the bat. He didn't. Talks engaged. Didn't. So who knows what's going to happen there? Hopefully not. Other things that happened in the league, this will be more me and Brantley oriented. DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals. Brantley, how are you feeling about that?
Well, he goes from one quarterback who, is, really good. Deshaun Watson, you can't go wrong with him. He's right up there. In my opinion, there's about 10 quarterbacks in the league. Well, maybe not 10, maybe like 7 or 8. I don't know. There's a handful of quarterbacks in the league to where, like, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter which one you have. All of them are really good. Maybe besides Patrick Mahomes, because I'm a big fan of Mahomes, and I think that when it's all said and done, if he doesn't end up as the GOAT, then he'll end up as the most talented because he makes throws on the field that I've never seen before, and he's only 23 years old, so he's got a long time to catch up to Brady. But that's beside the point. Hopkins goes from Watson to Kyler Murray, and Murray had a really good rookie season, and he didn't really have, very many weapons. He's throwing to old man Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
So, bringing in one of the best wide receivers in the league, I'd say Kyler's really happy, but I'm gonna have to say the same thing as I did with Brady. You're gonna have to temper your expectations a little bit because this whole offseason is virtual. So as the NFL came out with that all the offseason stuff is going to be virtual. So that's not a recipe for success in my opinion. You got to be in person, and I don't even know if he's ever caught a ball from Kyler, and he may not until training camp starts, if there is a training camp. So that's my opinion. But as from Hopkins' standpoint, it's a wash because I think Kyler and Deshaun are, I'd say Deshaun's better, but
Right.
Kyler was a rookie last year, so he can only get better, hopefully. But I'm sure Deshaun was pissed, and I'm sure Kyler's happy. So
yeah. I don't want to make this comparison, but this is too good of a comparison not to. I don't hope this happens. Last season, what we saw, Odell Beckham, who I don't think he's as good as DeAndre Hopkins, goes to the Cleveland Browns with their quarterback that this season was his second year from Oklahoma, right? Baker was from Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
Now DeAndre Hopkins goes to a quarterback who will be on his second year from Oklahoma as well. And if you guys didn't know, Odell didn't have too great of a year. A lot of times I didn't even remember Odell and the Browns over there. I really hope DeAndre doesn't go over there and have the same type of bad connection as Odell and Baker did, to where he's covered up and we don't hear about him. Because I like DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's a great wide receiver. Man's got I don't know how big hands on his forehead he can hit. It's crazy. With that, Matthew, if you don't mind, since you're not talking as much, do you think you could pull up the first 32 picks in the NFL draft to wrap things up here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. With this section, we're not going to go in too great of detail. We don't want to bore you guys, but me and Brantley, and if Matthew wants to chime in, he can. We are going to discuss who we think each team should go after, or a position of interest each team should have looking in this 2020 draft. So, Brantley, the Bengals, tell me about them. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm pulling up a list of the top prospects real quick. Obviously, I think the thing that the Bengals need to do is draft Joe Burrow. I mean, I don't think there's really any question about that. Joe Burrow had maybe the single greatest college season ever last year, and I mean, I hope it translates to the NFL, because even though I hate LSU, I mean, it's hard not to root for Joe Burrow just because of how cool of a guy he is on the field. And, he's not really cocky, but he's one of those guys that knows he's good and knows that he belongs where he's at. So I don't think there's any choice they have. They have to choose Joe Burrow. So
I agree. Joe Burrow, I think a lot of people say, Burrow might be a bust. And who knows? Anybody has a chance to be either great or bust. Brady, he was taken in the 6th round. Nobody knew he was going to turn out to be what he was. I'm going to have to agree. I think Joe Burrow's special. I think you can't just not think he is after seeing what he did this past season. We're going to move on to the second pick, which is the Washington Redskins. Now, the Redskins, rival of the Cowboys in the division, so obviously I wish they would go out and find the Tennessee quarterback, and you're draft him. I want them to waste a pick. But what I think is going to happen, they need their defensive line it's decent, it's okay, and who knows what's the quarterback's name?
Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins. Who knows if he's going to be their franchise or not? So I think they stick with him. Now they could draft Tua. It'd be a shock with Ron Rivera. He's a defensive-oriented guy, but I think it's got to be Chase Young. If you're them, Chase Young might be the best prospect in this whole draft, in my opinion. That is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to really add to that. I know that the Redskins are pretty deep on their D-line, but I'm pretty sure that Chase Young is going to be the pick right here. He's, like you said, he's probably the best prospect in the draft, and even though he kind of tailed off at the end of the year against their better competition, he didn't have any sacks against Michigan, Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship, or against Clemson. So that, in my opinion, that's kind of really worrisome that he didn't really do much against the best teams that they played. But he did light it up in the first 8 games of the year because he had that little suspension right there for the 9th and 10th game. So it's got to be Chase Young.
I agree. Matthew.
Yeah.
The Lions, player position. You don't know anything about the Lions. Do you know where they're from? Do you know what team?
Detroit.
Yeah. Poggers. We're going to have to pause. Matthew, you're frozen.
I think I've been frozen.
Oh, word. All right, we'll just keep you frozen until you know this part. My face is red again, brother. All right, Matthew. The Detroit Lions. Give me a position you think that they need.
Wide receiver.
Okay. All right. Well, Matthew's wrong. We're gonna go into the Lions, and the Lions, in my opinion, they got rid of Darius Slay to go to the Eagles. Unfortunately for me, but I think they need to pick up Jeffrey Okuda. Or is his first name Jeffrey? Is it?
It's Jeff.
Yeah. Sorry. Jeff Okuda. I think it's just one player's gone. This player, he's really good. I think it's plug and play. I think you pick him.
Yeah, I don't like exactly with Chase Young. I don't really have much else to say. I'm pretty sure it'll be Okuda unless they trade the pick. Their GM came out and said that they're very open to the possibility of trading the pick. So if they keep it, then it'll probably be Okuda. He was very good in the last game of the year against Clemson. So I think it'll be Okuda.
All right. Next up, we will go into. We'll kind of speed this along. Matthew, pull that back up. All right. We'll kind of speed this up. Giants. We'll just go back and forth. Brantley will do one. I'll do one. We won't give two opinions on one. So, Brantley, Giants. What you got for me?
Like I said with the Lions, if they keep the pick, then I've seen in some mock drafts where they're going to take Isaiah Simmons, which is a do-it-all linebacker from Clemson. And he's amazing in the games that I watched him play this past year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took him, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went O-line. And I'm not an offensive lineman type guy, so I wouldn't really know who they would take, but I wouldn't be surprised if they took a tackle.
Yeah. All right, the Dolphins. I think you got it's between Tua and Justin Herbert. Who do you think you're going to be your franchise quarterback? And for me, I think Tua has more intangibles. I think Tua's a leader. Tua's been through a lot. I'm going to have to go with Tua for the Dolphins.
Yep, and with the sixth pick for the Chargers, they said that that they're going to go with Tyrod Taylor. And in my opinion, if I were the Chargers, I would say tank for Trevor Lawrence for next year, because their roster is really good. But like I said, with their roster being good, I don't really think it's possible for them to tank because they just have a lot of really good players. So I'll go with Justin Herbert for the LA Chargers. He's a West Coast kid, played out at Oregon, so I think they'll take Herbert.
Panthers, they've lost some defensive key with Luke Kuechly retiring, so I'm going to have to step it up with the defense. I'm going to go with Derek Brown from Auburn. I think big fella. I think he can make a quick impact on that team. They got a rough division, but I think that's you got to get for the quarterbacks, and because with older white quarterbacks, I think they can get if you plug him in. I think he'll be a great fit.
Yeah. And with the next pick, with the Cardinals, they addressed their need with at the wide receiver position with Hopkins. So I'm going to have to go with offensive lineman. I'm pretty sure they have DJ Humphries on the left side, so I'd say they'll pick a tackle for the right side.
I agree. Jaguars. I'm gonna be honest with you. Jaguars are probably the most boring team in the whole NFL. I don't know a lot about the Jaguars. If I'm them, I don't think that what was his name? Minshew. I don't think Minshew's their guy. So I'm gonna be a bit of a surprise. I'm gonna go. You can obviously go defense here because Calais Campbell left, but I'm gonna mix up. I'm gonna go Justin Herbert to the Jaguars for me.
I said Herbert was going to the Chargers, so
I'm sorry. That's 100% my bad.
Okay.
If that's the case, then defense. Yeah, their defense. Yeah. Jaguars, I think another defensive side. That'll be great. That'll be great for them.
Okay. With the Browns, I mean, what don't the Browns need? They were supposed to break through last year, but they didn't. So I'm pretty sure they had problems protecting Baker Mayfield. So, like a couple picks that I've already done, I'm going to say that they need to pick an offensive lineman of some sort.
I agree. With the 11th pick, the Jets need firepower on offense, and in my opinion, CeeDee Lamb is the best option to go with wide receiver-wise. So I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb, big guy, big receiver for the Jets.
And 12th pick, the Raiders. It seems like they were going to pick whichever one that the Jets don't pick. So they took CeeDee Lamb, like you said. So I'll say they're going to take Jerry Jeudy.
Yep. Colts. Colts. I think that the Colts are going to be a bit of a surprise because I don't know if what's the quarterback's name?
Phillip Rivers.
Oh, yeah, they did get Phillip Rivers. They did get him traded. That's
Hey,
perfect.
and I'm pretty sure the Colts traded their first-round pick to the 49ers for Eric Armstead.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
All right. Well, if that's the case, we're sorry, guys. We'll just skip the Colts just for now. Buccaneers. I think you need help for Tom Brady. Like I said, he's kind of older, so I'm going to go an offensive player. I'm going to go offensive tackle. I think like someone like if Mekhi Becton's still there, pick him. The guy from Georgia, if he's there, go with him.
Yeah, I agree. Going on to the Broncos now. I've seen in some mock drafts where they're taking C.J. Henderson from Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a Florida fan. Go Gators, baby. Uh, he was really good his first 2 years, but last year he had a really disappointing year. So seeing him being taken number 15 overall is a little surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
He can't tackle. He was injured all year, so maybe that had something to do with it. So you know, I'm gonna say that they take him because he's supposed to be the second best corner in the draft. But yeah, I don't really know much about the Broncos. Sorry, EJ, but I'd say that that's who they'd take.
All right. With the Falcons, I think their defensive line might need some help. So I think one of the best pass rushers is, I think his name is Caleb Chison from LSU. I
Yeah.
think he'd be a great just plug-in fit player right there, personally. Ooh, Brantley,
You want to pick the Cowboys?
Um, I'll do a little bit of Cowboys. I think if C.J. Henderson and Caleb Chison is gone, and the wide receivers. Some people are wanting to go a team 40 team and just beat every team with offense for the Cowboys. If like CeeDee Lamb somehow fell that far, which I don't think he will. So I'm going to have to go safety who can maybe transfer to corner, Xavier McKinney from Alabama.
Okay. With the Dolphins' next pick, honestly, I don't know. I don't know who really they'd take because we're kind of getting into the prospects that any person can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just say I'm gonna say they go best player available and probably go Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina. He's a defensive lineman.
Okay. All right. Raiders. The Raiders already picked up their wide receiver piece. I think they need to pick up. Let's see here. The best player available. I think they need to go defense with this one. We shall to pull up a mock draft. Kind of forgetting people. They need to go defense. I'm gonna say they go corner. I'm gonna say Christian Fulton for the Raiders.
Yeah, Christian Fulton's good. On the Raiders now, so Jaguars. Like you said earlier, don't know much about the Jaguars. I don't know what they need or anything like that. I know that they probably need help scoring points, so I'll say that they choose somebody like Henry Ruggs, who is a wide receiver and can help them score
Oh,
points.
right. Eagles. Hope the Eagles completely miss, but I don't think they will. I think they'll be smart. I think they'll pick up a wide receiver. And with Henry Ruggs being gone, I think they'll go Justin Jefferson. He's a solid player.
Justin Jefferson can ball, that's for sure. With the Bills, they kind of addressed their need at wide receiver with Stephon Diggs, and they got some other good guys too. So with that being said, I really don't know who else they take. So I don't know. They might choose a guy like T. Higgins from Clemson and Oak Ridge. I played basketball against him growing up, so that'll be pretty cool for me to see him get drafted and say I played basketball against that guy. But yeah, I'll say T. Higgins with the Bills.
All right, Patriots. I don't think that Jarrett Stidham is their guy. So I hope they pick up Jordan Love, who has a chance to be really great. a really great player.
Yeah, Jordan Love, he'd be a good pick for the Pats. With the Saints,
Loaded.
I wish Justin Jefferson would have fell to them because he's from New Orleans, went to school at LSU, so I thought it'd be really cool for him to play for the Saints. But with that being said, I think they're going to take Patrick Queen. He's a linebacker from LSU, really good player. I think that's who they're going to take.
Next up, we have Vikings. Now, Vikings, I don't know too much about the Vikings, but I know that their defense their offense will need some help. So, a good wide receiver that's still left. Matthew, you're going to have to edit this out because I don't know a thing. Oh, sorry. Laviska Shenault. I've heard quite a bit of talk about him. Him or Jalen Rigger. I've heard both great talks about them having a low risk and high reward type players. So We'll say Shenault.
With the Dolphins pick, they've already had 2 first-round picks, so I'm going to say they go skill position. I'll say running back. I say they choose DeAndre Swift out of Georgia.
Right. Seahawks, don't know a lot about Seahawks. I know they need more offensive firepower a little bit, so I'm going to have to go with who I didn't say and go with Jalen Rigor.
Okay. With the Ravens, I mean, I don't know what the Ravens really need. They seemed really good in the regular season last year. You could maybe worry about Mark Ingram getting a little older, and because he's been in the league for a while. It's getting close to 10 years now, so you could maybe think about taking a running back right here. But so I don't really know. So I'll say they take somebody like J.K. Dobbins or Jonathan Taylor or somebody like that.
I agree. We have the Titans next. So the Titans, obviously, I think they need help on the defensive side. An edge rusher. I know Burke, Titans fan. New Titans fan, sorry. I think someone like AJ Espinosa.
We started liking them when they made the playoffs.
I think he would be a good fit right there. There's somebody who can help off the edge.
Nice. With the Packers, I know they have a need at wide receiver because I can't even name any of their receivers besides Devontae Adams. But, I mean, there's been a lot of receivers already taken. So I'm going to go with linebacker Kenneth Murray, I think. I don't know if you've already said him or not, but I'll go with him.
All right. I think 49ers with my last pick. For me, I think they need somebody to replace Emmanuel Sanders, another guy on the slot, because their defense is already good. So I think they're going to go Brandon Ayuiak, maybe, or I think his name's Brian Edwards, something like that. They just need more offensive. They need someone to fill in Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, and with the last pick of the first round, I said that the Ravens would choose either J.K. Dobbins or Jonathan Taylor. I think the Chiefs will choose the other one, whichever one's not picked. So I've seen in some mock drafts where they're taking a running back, so I'll say they take a running back too.
All right, thank you. Matthew, you can pull that screen off now. Thank you for doing that for us. Appreciated. All right, with that, guys, I want to thank you. Usually we won't talk too much long about sports like that, but the NFL draft is coming up, like we said, and so you don't always get to talk about that. That's just our first round. So there's still 6 more rounds after that. If you guys feel free, go to NFL, or not NFL, but go to Mock Draft Simulator and Network, and you can create your own. With that being said, he fixed it, Pog. With that being said, thank you, Brantley, so much for being our first ever guest on here.
Yes, sir.
How'd it feel? You like it?
Yeah, it was fun. After you guys cycle through some other people, I hope I did good enough for you guys. Want me to come back? So yeah,
For sure. With that being said, thank you for listening to the second episode of the Alphas Table. And if no one has anything else to say, we're out. Thank you.
Peace.